The Sage ERP Accpac inventory system provides your inventory managers and inventory users with live, real-time item quantities. This allows them to optimize purchasing and fulfillment. But equally important, the inventory system provides your accounting department with accurate inventory balances and proper GAAP-based costs. It is important, however, to understand the behavior of inventory costs in a batch-based accounting system such as Sage ERP Accpac. So in this tutorial, we'll demonstrate the real-time behavior of quantities in the inventory system and, importantly, how the day-end process affects valuations in inventory and the general ledger. Our demonstration will cover several steps. First, we'll verify that the balances in our inventory system and general ledger match following running of the day-end process. We'll take a look at the live real-time inventory that your sales order entry staff sees. And finally, after shipping an order, we'll review costs and compare balances in the inventory system and general ledger before and after running the day-end process. So now let's begin with the first step. Let's assume that we're looking at our company data in the morning before any transactions have been entered and the day-end process was run the previous evening. We want to compare our inventory valuation in inventory control with the value in our inventory balance sheet account. If these values match, then our accounting department will have peace of mind. To see the valuation in inventory control, we'll run the item valuation report. We've put a shortcut on our portal that will take us straight to it. We'll use location detail costs and run it for all items, including all locations and any inventory in transit. And what we're really interested in is the actual cost, and now we'll hit print. And here's the report. And we'll go ahead and resize it to fit our screen. On the left side, we can see our 4 inventory locations plus in transit. Now let's jump to the last page, and here we can see that the valuation is $1,982,662.62. Again, we should expect to see the same amount in our general ledger inventory account, so go ahead and store this number in your memory or write it down. So let's now verify this in the general ledger by closing the report windows, and on our portal, we'll hit our chart of accounts shortcut. Here we want to look at account 1300, which is our inventory account, and we'll hit the Go button. And you can see that the balance here does indeed match the balance we just saw in inventory control. So again, following the day-end process and prior to any new transactions, these values match, which should make our accounting department happy. So now let's move to the second step in our tutorial, which is looking at the inventory information that is presented to our order takers. To do this, let's enter an order, and we'll launch order entry using the shortcut that we placed on our portal. The customer will be Bargain Mart in San Diego, which we'll select using the Finder. Our default for this order is to ship from location 1, our central warehouse. Moving to the line details, we'll open the Finder and select the first item, a fluorescent desk lamp. When we hit the Tab key, the live real-time inventory information appears for the location that the order will ship from, as well as the totals for all locations. Next, we'll enter a quantity of 2, and when we post the order, notice that the quantity on sales order is now 2. Now if we hit Ship All and repost the order, then we should see the quantity on hand and quantity available reduced from 149 to 147, and the quantity on sales order should become 0. So now we'll hit Ship All and then Post, and sure enough the quantities have updated to what we expected. This demonstrates the live real-time nature of the Sage ERP Accpac inventory system. So now let's close the order and move to the final step in this tutorial. We'll review the inventory valuation in our inventory reports and compare it with the valuation in our general ledger before and after running the day-end process. So let's start with the inventory valuation report, which we'll run by hitting our shortcut. We'll select Location Detail Costs and click Print. Once again, we'll resize the report to fit it to our screen. At the top of the report is the item we just shipped, the fluorescent desk lamp. Notice that the quantity on hand, which is shown as 147, matches the live inventory value we saw on the order screen after shipping the order. But while the quantity updates in real time, the actual cost for the item does not. You can see this if we overlay the valuation report that we ran prior to shipping the 2 lamps at the start of this tutorial. Notice that the actual cost of the item has not updated even though the shipment reduced the quantity by 2 units. Further, although the actual cost has not updated, the average unit value continues to calculate and accordingly does not reflect the true value. As you will see, due to the nature of a batch system, the actual cost will not update on this report until the day-end process is run. And similarly, the total shown on the last page of this report also will not reflect the true inventory cost. The exception to all of this would be if you have turned on the option to cost items during posting rather than during day-end processing. Note that costing inventory during posting is time-consuming and therefore is typically not done. Now moving on, let's close the report windows and take a look at the inventory valuation in our general ledger. We'll use our shortcut to open the chart of accounts, and we'll enter 1300 for our inventory account and hit the Go button. Note that the balance here does match the cost we just saw in the inventory valuation report. However, based on what we just demonstrated, we know that this number does not reflect the true valuation until the day-end batch process is run. So now let's close the window and run the day-end process in inventory control and see what happens to our cost in the valuation report and general ledger. We'll click our day-end shortcut and hit Process. Note that to streamline this tutorial, we've set up our system to automatically post batches through to the general ledger. Now let's close the message and return to the item valuation report, select Location Details, and hit Print. Now once again overlaying the valuation report we ran previously, we can compare the cost before and after the day end. As you can see, the day end process has updated the actual cost for the item and the average unit cost is now showing the true value. Now jumping to the last page, since all of the item values now reflect their true costs, the total as well is now the true total cost. Once again, you should commit this number to memory or write it down, and we'll now compare it with the GL inventory balance. Moving on, we'll open the chart of accounts and enter 1300 and hit Go. And here we can see that after running the day-end process, the numbers here now reflect the true cost and indeed match inventory. So again, while the inventory system and reports show live real-time quantities, costs and inventory reports and the general ledger require the day-end process to be run in order to be accurate. Note that although it's called the day-end process, you can run the day-end as often as you like. And that completes our tutorial. So to recap, the Sage ERP Accpac inventory system provides your inventory managers and inventory users with live real-time quantities. But equally important, it provides your accounting department with accurate inventory balances and proper GAAP-based costs. Give us a call if you need assistance with this or any other feature in your Sage Accpac system. Well, that's it for this tutorial. Bye for now.